Facebook made some really big changes yesterday, or they announced some big changes that are going to be rolling out really soon. And as a social media marketer, these are some changes that are really going to affect not only what I do for myself, but also what I'm going to be doing for my clients. And so social media is something that changes constantly, especially Facebook. I've been saying this for years that Facebook is constantly changing the game. Their algorithms are always changing, and so it's important that you need to be able to pivot. So this is a pivotal moment to pivot your social media strategy, because if you haven't already adopted certain strategies, it's time to get on board with them. So we're just going to give a little bit of an overview. I'm going to drop a link here for the actual announcement that Facebook gave out. And so you can read through all of the announcements, everything that they shared. And so you can see directly from them, what they're looking for. And they kind of spell it out of, what to do to succeed. People look at algorithms and they think, gosh, it just feels like this giant puzzle. I don't know how to work in this space. But one thing that's common in whether it's a Facebook algorithm change or Google algorithm change, it's based off of real user behavior. And so you're looking for clues in what they say. And really all of the changes are based on making it a better user experience for the person that's doing a search query on Google, or someone that's using Facebook as an individual. Now, Facebook has gotten a lot of criticism and has become somewhat of a toxic space for many people. If you think back to the recent political election, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And a lot of this toxicity has continued on, and Facebook seems to be just kind of a breeding ground for it. And so their hope is that they are trying to weed out some of the fake news and some of this toxic article sharing that has really no purpose of engagement, just merely to throw controversial stuff out there. But they've got a number of other reasons as to why. I mean, ultimately, they're wanting people to engage more. I mean, that's the whole point of social media in the first place. And so they are going to be rewarding content that people are engaging with, content that people actually want to interact with. The hitting the like, the share, the comments, having that conversation happening online. They are really kind of guiding our behavior now as a culture to have these conversations online. If you as a business want to get any traction, you have to actually be conversing with your audience, and that can be a difficult thing to do. As the last few years have gone by, honestly, one of the biggest motivating factors that I see on a regular basis with the Facebook changes is that it usually points back to using more paid social. So yes, Mark Zuckerberg can say, oh, we want to promote engagement, we want to get rid of people having clickbaity comments, and that's great. But one of the ways to combat this as a business is going to be through Facebook advertising, and it's going to be using paid tactics to get the word out there about your business. So the Facebook business page is becoming more and more of a challenging space for businesses to be in. You're finding, and we've been seeing this over the last few years, that to have a Facebook business page alone is not necessarily conducive in the Facebook environment now. And so really, what can you do to combat this? As Facebook is taking away more and more of your organic reach as a business, there's a number of things that you can do if Facebook still continues to be your main space. Like I said, paid Facebook sponsored posts, advertising, having a paid strategy is now a must-have. If you are not willing to invest on a regular basis some advertising dollars into your strategy on Facebook, don't expect any reach. And so that's the piece where, it's a little disconcerting for a lot of business owners, and I totally understand. But at the same time, there's a lot of great wealth and the paid Facebook advertising platforms, and we've been seeing that for our clients. and it's amazing what you can do. So while this is a frustrating thing, it also could be the kick in the pants that you need to actually get out there and get advertising, which could be drawing more business to your company in a more passive way. So that's one thing to consider. And if you aren't already employing paid Facebook strategies into your mix, it's something that I would highly recommend doing for 2018. The other piece that you can do to combat this is to have engaging content. And one of the most engaging pieces of content is live video. Facebook likes video, but they also love live video. And this is also another direct competition or example of the direct competition between Facebook and YouTube. So Facebook is really encouraging people to go live with their video. They're giving a lot more preference to that over really any other type of content. And it's spelled right out there in that link that I just dropped in the comments. So if you read through that, you can see exactly what Facebook is really hinting at. You know, hey folks, pay attention to these things. Facebook Live was one of those things. Now, a couple of other ways that, you know, they don't necessarily mention completely, but are some great opportunities, are Facebook groups. You know, focusing on a group that you've got connected. Yes, you can't do as much with advertising capabilities, gathering data, having public information about your business, but you can actually promote a really engaged community. And so Facebook groups are a really great way to do that. The other great thing about Facebook groups is it's a space that you can control, and you can be a little bit more proactive about your business. And it's a space that really you can control with a lot more control. And you can point people back out of the group to other parts of your marketing strategy. The other piece that I would recommend considering is your personal profile. And this is where it kind of gets sticky, because based on your business or based on your personal life, this may or may not be a reality that you want to pursue. But the more that you have friendships with people in your own business network, or relationships with people who are going to refer business or are potential clients, the more likely you can actually engage with them on a personal level, which gives that top of mind recognition and helps keep a lot of brand awareness right there at the forefront. So engaging your personal profile for business purposes is one way that I see people starting to kind of combat some of these changes that Facebook is doing. But again, that's a very careful thing to do. You have to be very strategic about how you're using your personal profile for business purposes and how much you want to use that network for those purposes. So something to think about. And then, you know, the other big thing that Facebook mentions is using events. You know, so for local businesses, creating an event and engaging people within the event tab itself is a really great opportunity for a local business to be able to kind of have any skin in the game, especially if you don't have a huge advertising budget. Now, big picture, those are all like Facebook things you can do to try to combat this, but let's talk big picture, because the reality is that Facebook has been changing the rules constantly for the last 10 years, and the reach that you're able to get on an organic basis has gone down dramatically. And so the question for me becomes, how many eggs am I going to put in Facebook's basket compared to some of the other social media platforms that are giving me better reach? And so as a business, you really have to take a really careful look at how diversified are you. You know, if the news this week, or if you're just listening to this for the first time, and the news today is really going to, you know, shake things up for your business, you may want to consider diversifying your approach. And that means getting strategic and building networks on things like LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter. There's so many different places that you could be building your network that aren't only playing by Facebook's rules. And not only that, pushing people to your email list and back to your website, because those are places that you control. And so that's the point. We've been saying this for years with social media, that you need to be pointing people back to an area where you have the ultimate control. You can decide how often you're going to email people. You can decide what information is getting shown to an audience when they land on that web page. You are not playing with an algorithm on your website or on your email list. So focus on building space. Remember that we are on rented space here on Facebook. And so we have to kind of pivot. And so this is a pivotal moment for you as a business owner to pivot your business accordingly with these changes. Do not keep doing what you've been doing in the past and expect the same results, because Facebook is telling us right now as a business that those rules are changing and that you will get less engagement. So unless you're willing to change, I really strongly worry for you. It's kind of like evolution, the strongest survive. Those willing to adapt will survive. And this is a pivotal moment in social media evolution where we all are needing to evolve or die. So take a look through the Facebook update there in that link that I dropped in the comments. And I'd love to hear what you think, are some ways to combat these changes, and what kind of change you think you're going to see as a user of Facebook, as a business on Facebook. How do you think these changes are actually going to roll out and affect people? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'd love to interact more with you on Facebook.